At last you vanished, gone to the unseen. Strange the path you took out of this world. Beating your wings and feathers, you demolished this cage. Rising up to the sky, you attained the world of the soul. Then you heard the drummer's call and flew beyond space and time. This phantom world gave you false signs, but you turned from the illusion and journeyed to the land of truth. You are now the sun. What need have you for a crown? I've heard that you can barely see your soul, but why look at all? Yours is now the soul of souls. O heart, what a rare bird you are. In your yearning for divine heights, you flapped your wings and smashed into the spear like a shield. The rose flees autumn, but not you. You are the fearless rose that grows amidst the freezing wind. You were rain from another world that fell on this dusty earth. You ran in all directions and escaped down into the roots. Be silent. Now the words are over, and the pain they bring is gone. Now you have gone to rest in the arms of the beloved. What a beautiful, inspirational poem by the master himself. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't hesitate to drop a like, share your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. You will be joining a growing community of souls who very much like the subject of this poem, are flying to divine heights to ultimately reach the arms of their beloved. As you probably have already gathered, there are so many spiritual gems in this poem, with each line conveying such a deep meaning. So let's see if we can now extract some of that spiritual wisdom to help us on our own awakening journey. After all, that's what it's all about. So let's first start by identifying who or what Rumi is actually referring to in this poem. It's clear that he is not addressing a particular person or thing. He is not talking to you, to me, or any other being that identifies with a mind or body. He is talking to the soul, or the spiritual heart that is our true identity. This heart is not the same heart that is pumping blood throughout our entire body, but rather the one that is invisible to the eye. We may not be able to see this heart, but it is very much alive and breathing. Just like our breath that can't be seen, but is definitely felt, our spiritual heart can't be seen, but is definitely felt. It's something that you feel in your core, and that distinguishes you from just flesh and bones. If you close your eyes right now and stay silent for a few minutes, you might even feel this heart right now. But the sad truth is that we often forget this heart. We forget who we really are. We live such busy and hectic lives that we identify almost exclusively with the countless thoughts running around inside our head. Most of these thoughts are not only useless, negative, but they are also harmful, which is why so many of us struggle with anxiety, depression, and a general lack of clarity or fulfillment in life. But if we could just detach ourselves from this mind and return back to our spiritual heart, our essence, then we'll be able to break free from this mental cage and achieve true peace and happiness. This is the entire spirit of Rumi's poem. He is inspiring and encouraging you to look past this false self that you have created and to tap into the real self, the heart and soul. If you understand this, then you will appreciate the poem so much more. Because what does it really mean to vanish and go to the unseen? How does one really leave this world, and through which path? Is he talking about the death of the body, or is it more so that he's talking about the death of the ego? I'll let you come to your own conclusion, and I'm sure we all have an opinion, but I will just say that if you read these lines literally, then you will fail to see the deep truth that lies within. But if you can silence your mind and actually open your heart, you will find that these words resonate because they speak directly to your soul rather than to your mind. For no matter what you think, you have the potential to transcend this illusionary world of form. You have the potential to break free from this cage you have created. So don't just believe what you can perceive with your five senses. There is an entire world beyond the grasp of your mind, and that is exactly where Rumi is encouraging us to go. He wants us to escape this mundane and pointless existence that we are living. He wants us to reconnect with our soul so that we can actually achieve true spiritual growth. You are that special bird that beats its wings and feathers to escape this phantom world. Even if your mind can't sense it, and it probably can't, your heart and soul can definitely sense that this ordinary life is just an illusion full of false signs. There is a land of truth within our reach, but it requires immense effort, patience, and sacrifice. However, don't let that discourage you, because every moment you are awake is a moment that you are healing. Every moment that you ignore the false signs is a moment that you develop a connection with the real sign, the sign of your heart. Now, many people call this sign intuition, or the ability to understand something almost instantly without actually having to think about it. You know, we all have moments of intuition, sometimes called gut feelings, from time to time. It could be something as simple and inexplicable as just getting a certain vibe from someone, having a deep dream or desire, or even experiencing a profound spiritual truth. This intuition is no more than the heart speaking to us in its own miraculous way. It is trying to get our attention and to pull us away from the destructive tornado of thoughts we often find ourselves swept in. And the more we can listen to and follow our heart, the more it will guide us to our actual home, the place where we can just simply be. If you stop for a moment and just realize this, you have everything that your heart can ever desire. Now, it may not be the house that you want, or the relationship that you crave, or the spiritual understanding that you seek. But all of these things are actually available to you if you stop to realize it. You may not have that dream home, for example, but guess what? You have the greatest home with the beloved. A home that never gets old, never loses value, and is never destroyed. This is your true home, no matter which properties you buy or where you live in life. Similarly, you may crave to be in a relationship with someone, not realizing that you are always in a relationship with God. He will never leave you, but someone else might. If you focus so much on having that particular person in your life, you sometimes forget and don't appreciate that God is always here for you and never leaves your side. So, to revisit Rumi's poem, you, or the spiritual heart behind this body, are already the sun. You are the bright and beautiful star that gives life and love to this world. You are already the enlightened being that has risen above this world. So why then are you still interested in a crown? Why then are you still interested in having a status or position in this world? As Shakespeare beautifully said, uneasy is the head that wears the crown. And there is so much truth to this. Virtually all of us at some point or another in our lives, crave some material possession or worldly status, in other words, a crown. But the truth is, you already have it all. Your heart needs nothing more but simply for you to just stop searching this world for things to own, control, or desire. If you just reflect on this for a moment, you would never trade the amazing, beautiful soul hidden inside you for anything or anyone this world has to offer. There is not a single thing more worthy and more beautiful than your soul. And yet so many of us forget that we have this soul. We forget that there is this priceless treasure inside us that is the real source of all our happiness, peace, comfort, and joy. Not only do we forget that we have this soul, but interestingly enough, we often are afraid of discovering the soul in the first place. We're afraid of the power that our soul may contain, the power that it may reveal. We're afraid of the veils it might drop, the doors it might open, and the boundaries it might shatter. Why? It's because we have spent years accepting certain ideas about ourselves that the thought of obliterating them can be a frightening one indeed. Somehow, and I'm not sure how, many of us would rather accept something bad that is 100% certain rather than to take a chance and risk what we have for something so much better, but that is not 100% certain. In fact, many studies have shown that most people have a natural risk aversion in life. They'll avoid risk at any cost. For example, if I made a bet with you right now to flip a coin, with heads meaning you lose $1 and tails meaning you gain $1, you will likely be more sad if the coin reveals heads than you will be happy if the coin reveals tails. There's obviously certain theories as to why this is, but my personal view is that we have this deep-rooted fear of the unknown. This fear comes from the fact that we remain largely disconnected from Source and mistakenly believe that we are operating alone in life. But we are never alone. God is with you every step of the way, even if you don't realize it. You are never alone, and you will never struggle or fall. Anything you lose, Rumi says, comes around in another form. And so if you really want that joy, peace, and love in your life, you have to be brave enough to risk this ordinary life you are living. You have to embrace change, discomfort, and uncertainty. You have to flap your wings and smash it into the spear like a shield. Now that's a beautiful analogy, and that's so typical of a lot of Rumi's poetry. Typically, we think of the spear as being the hunter and the bird the prey. But Rumi is saying to not fear the spear. In other words, to not fear getting hurt. You will inevitably get hurt in life, especially on the spiritual journey, as you work to try to make sense of your existence and struggle to find your way back home. But just because you may get hurt from time to time, that doesn't mean that you stop following your heart. You should never stop following your heart. Follow it, because it is a rare bird that doesn't fear the spear. It will just keep flying higher and higher into the endless sky of love. This love is what will guide you toward God, awakening, and bliss. And you can only truly grow this love when you listen to your heart and when you remove all the fear in your life. It's fear that's preventing you from loving. And if you thought that this analogy of the bird flying into the spear is inspirational, then how about the rose that keeps growing even in the freezing wind? I have to say, I probably like this analogy even more, and that's partly because I have some roses growing right now in the garden. Typically, they bloom in beautiful colors: red, yellow, pink, and my personal favorite, white. But since it's now winter, and we have just passed fall, they have lost all their petals, and they are a shadow of their divine self. There's no more beautiful colors or shapes. It's mostly just thorns. And so when Rumi says that the rose flees autumn, he's saying that most people run away from challenges or things that could hurt them or leave them naked and vulnerable like the thorny rose bush. But the enlightened soul is fearless and keeps growing even in the harshest of conditions, even in the most freezing wind. It's a rose that is blooming all year round. So don't be afraid if you lose a few petals or leaves in life. You will just keep growing and growing and growing. Let go of this world and travel deep within to find your special heart. For once you do, everything in your life will start to open up, like the rose that is blooming. A deep sense of joy and gratitude toward who you are begins to emerge. A newfound wonder at life and all the amazing creatures and things in it begins to blossom. And an indescribable sense of love overtakes your entire mind, body, and soul. There is no more thinking anymore. No more words. No more pain. Just our pure, natural, and peaceful selves. No matter who we are or which path in life we take, we all come from the same source. Like drops of rain pouring from the same cloud, we enter this world and try to make a home of it. Some of us go deeper than others and manage to actually nourish the world. Others barely stick around and evaporate into oblivion before you even know it. But we can all develop that awareness. We can all develop that insight to realize that this dusty earth is not the end-all be-all. There is another world out there. An unseen world beyond place and time. Feel it, follow it, and surrender to it, using silence as the key to unlock everything. And with that, thank you all for sticking around to watch this video. I know it was long, but I definitely hope that you found some value in it. If so, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Your support really does mean a lot, and it's a way of telling YouTube to recommend these videos to other like-hearted souls who can also benefit and enjoy from this type of content. But I'll leave you with a deep blessing and immense message of love as you follow your heart, your best friend, to finally rest in the arms of the beloved.